Okay guys, I want to thank you for coming back to my channel for another edition of Fustian Rants. Today, hopefully I've got a good one for you. I want to share an experience that I recently had on social media. Yes, I am on the, much maligned Facebook. I've made some connections on there and enjoyed some conversations, and I wanted to share one of my experiences in those with you. Recently, I had a friend who put up a post that said, "Bad situation in Ontario, Canada. Do some research." And I was like, what's going on in Canada? And why in the heck is this guy being so vague and cryptic with his comments? You see, when I asked him about it, his response was that he didn't want to get zucked. And as many of you know already, if you don't, I'm going to tell you, he's scared. He didn't want to get banned, censored, suspended, shadow banned, fact-checked, labeled, or altogether deplatformed. You see, really the issue is a fear of loss for him. There is something about being on Facebook that he values, those connections that he's made there and whatnot, and he doesn't want to risk losing them. Could also be a situation where maybe he fears repercussions from his job, or whatever the case might be. You see, the mindset is understandable. I get where he's coming from, and maybe a lot of you are in that same situation. I empathize, right? But what are you really losing if you get deplatformed or get labeled or get suspended or whatever? What is it that you can't get from somewhere else, like MeWe or Gab or the new Frank Speech platform, that you could only get on Facebook? And how valuable is it to you, really? And the reason I ask these questions is because ultimately self-censoring and fear make it easier for Facebook and other platforms to stifle free speech and control the narrative. You see, you're doing their work for them by being hesitant to post news or the truth out there. I say, make them work every step of the way in their fight to hide the truth and to control the flow of information. Don't make it any easier for them. And I know that may be easy for me to say because I'm not at risk of losing my job, but I am at risk of losing other things, and I'm at risk of being doxxed and everything else too. But see, the reason that it's gotten so out of hand is because our niceness, our wanting to operate within the rules, our desire to not alienate anybody is what they're preying on in this process. You see, if you make them fight every step of the way, then you're clogging up the system. It makes them have to work 10 times as hard if there's a bunch of voices out there trying to share the information that they don't want getting out. And there's lots of ways to do it. You could share, you can repost, you can screen grab and then repost that, and it takes them even longer to get to it, right? You can click past their little stupid labels that are on there. I didn't put them in charge of being the fact police for me. Again, the whole point is for us to take in as much information as we can and decide for ourselves what's true and decide what to do with that information. Another thing that happens is, I think the reason why the pendulum only seems to tilt one way to the silencing of conservatives is because as conservatives, we tend not to rock the boat and we tend not to take advantage of the tools at our disposal. What tools? Well, when you see false information or clearly, misinformation that's being peddled, report it. Every doggone time, encourage your friends to do it. And when Facebook comes back, like they tend to do, and say, oh, this doesn't violate our community standards, even though it's clearly not true, inflammatory, slanderous, or downright threatening, appeal it. Keep records of it. If you have the means, fight it legally, like our boy Steven Crowder has done, or Candace Owens. Take them to task on it, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to fight back against all of this. And if you stuck around just to figure out what was going on in Canada, it seems that Canada is having a tough time with COVID-19 in their response to it. In fact, While many states are opening up and people are looking at loosening restrictions, they are clamping down even tighter than ever before. Apparently now only about 25% of their population is allowed to roam about. And not only that, but they've set up checkpoints where the police are actually asking you what you're doing out and what your purpose is. And if they don't like your answer, you're getting fined $750. That to me seems like something that's newsworthy, but has it been covered on the mainstream media? Have you seen that coming across your news feed? And if not, you got to ask why. And by the way, while you're doing all that, feel free to go to the App Store and give people a bad review for not sharing that information, for stifling that information, for censoring the free speech, for not taking down the stuff that is clearly a violation of their policies and terms, and yet they sent you a message saying it wasn't. If you do that enough, and if we support each other, then we could start to beat back some of this. We could start to regain control and regain freedoms that are rightfully ours. All right, guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you want to support our work, feel free to like and share this video. Of course, you can get some of our cool new swag or drop us some green on Patreon. The links are in the description below. The most important thing you can do is tell me what you think in a comment below the video.